Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here with another Scrap Your Scrap Thursday nights. Tonight I'm going to be working on part 2 of the two-part birthday layouts. I think I did two videos in between this one and the first two-page layout. So this is a one-page layout that's going to be changed into a two-page layout, and it's a birthday party layout. So what you see here isn't actually what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be basing the birthday layout on this kind of configuration. So what we have, just to start, is we've got two 12 by 12 papers for the background. So this entire area here is going to have a line drawn to frame it, but it is going to be white paper. So that is my number 1 on my list. Now number 2 is going to be this strip of paper here. So out of one of these, because I don't usually use these ones that have, sort of a frame already in it. So I am going to be cutting them into strips of paper. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, we're starting with the blue. And I was thinking that the number 2 paper I could either get as a strip that's here or a strip of the nice blue in the background. And then the number 3 paper, which is actually these two strips and this strip down there, I thought might be taken out of one of these papers. So I have a bunch of different options here. And yeah, so basically, and then number 4 I thought could come out of this paper. Number 3, this would be kind of a neat strip to come out. Anyway, number 4, which is this dark piece, could come out of this paper, and number 5 could come from the back of it, So basically I'm pulling together papers that I can use to create these strippy bits, to also the backs of the photographs. Now, I have a number of different photographs, so let me just move this out of the way so we can sort of see what's going to go on each page. On the one side, I just need to look. I have this photograph and 2 of the 4 by 3 photographs. All of them are horizontal. And then on the other side, I have a 2 by 3, sorry, my arm is in the way. I have a 3 by 4 horizontal, and I have 2 verticals and 2 horizontals. And I kind of like the idea of playing with something like this. But we'll have to see how that all translates into this. So as we go, we're going to be building something. This one translates a whole lot easier, but I might end up putting 2 together on one strip or 2 in between strips or something. So we'll kind of see what goes on there. Plus I have found some other bits of things that I have that I can use as images, and of course I've had pieces from the last pages that I made and some plain cardstock. And what else do I have here? Yeah, so we will start to develop something from there. First of all, let's look at how our pages are going to play out on the first side. We're going to build the basics first. So let's put the pages away. We're going to bring out our 4 by 4, or a 12 by 12 rather, pardon me. Oh yes, and I also have this fun paper too that I can use in the making of the strips and things. So let's just pull that all out. I don't really use pre-printed paper that has like a frame and a doodad in the corner. So this is why I'm sort of trying to chop it up. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I am going to circle, I'm going to do the outside edge of these guys with a black marker. And I am going to do it as if I'm using a ruler. Or should I do it with blue? Because there is blue in here. I think I will do it with a blue pen. Just a regular blue pen. So let's find one. Okay, so I found a piece of paper. I'm actually going to remove this because I feel like I'm not doing any messy work. I want to be able to use the grid. And I just want to make sure that my paper is actually 12 by 12 before I begin. I'm starting an inch in. So this is, yep, that will work. And that will work. So these are 12 by 12. I found with the last one I did, it actually had a little bit more, and that confused me a bit. So I am going to take these one at a time, and I am just going to lay it down in the center, push that back so you can see what I'm doing. A little bit of tape just to hold it still. Get it lined up so I can do all 3 lines without moving the paper very much. Okay, so I'm going to do these lines here. So a 1/2 inch is what I'm starting with here, and I'm going to end it at the 1/2 inch point down here. So this is the quickest, easiest way I know how to do it. So I line it up at the top, line it up at the bottom, and then I just slowly allow my pen to go up to that. Whoops, I slipped a bit. Good thing it wasn't catching. And then just go back. So I get a nice blue line there. There we go. And then across the bottom, I am going to do the same thing. There we go. I got a bit of a boo-boo here, but I'm going to leave it. Not going to worry about it. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the second one. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Now, put that aside because I might need that again. So here are my 2 background papers with that 1/2 inch all the way around it. And I'm going to start with the left hand side. And in the left hand side, let's get our page map. There we go. I'm going to need to create some of these pieces. Now feels like I just somehow tilted everything. There we go. So on this, number 1 is my white paperback. I'm going to disregard this line because I'm going over 2 pages. This is if you were just staying together. Now, the line that goes around the outside edge of this is much finer than I have, but I'm okay with that. So we have these pieces. If we do some math here, let's see. We have 12 inches. So 12 inches, I'm just going to write that up at the top. And these look like 2 inches each. So let's say they are 2 inches each times, looks like if these are 2 inches, that's going to be 1 inch. So 1 and 1 is 2 inches. So 2 inches by 10 inches is what these big strips look like. And then if they're 2 inches, that's 2, 4, 6 inches. That means I have 2, 4, 6. I have 6 inches to divide into 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So we are going to distribute this equally, and if we add 1 inch into each of these, that's 4 inches with a remainder of 2 inches divided by 4. That gives us a 1/2 inch. So it's 1 and 1/2 inch that goes in between. So let's write some of this down. So if we do 2 inches times 10 inches for these guys, okay, and then the spaces here are going to be 1¼ inches. No, 1½ inches. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1½ inches. So that's perfect. And now these strippy bits, if that's 2 inches, that looks like 1/2 inch. So these strippy bits can be 1/2 inch, and let's say we have 1/2 inch on either side by 11 inches. And then these squares are going to be dependent on the shape of the actual image that I'm putting there. So I'm not going to measure those until the very end. I'm going to get everything else on, and then we're going to figure out what little decorative bits we can put on after we get the photos on. And am I missing anything? So that's 2 by 10. This is 2 inches by 10 inches, and this is 2 inches by 10 inches. And we have a little bit of trim here. Not sure what I'm going to do for that. So string, backgrounds, decorative bits, and trim other than our flags, which are going to be the same color consistently through the whole thing, I am going to figure out after the fact. All right, so let's look at some paper here. Now, the way I see it is I can use this as a thin strip for something, but I don't really have enough of it, so I would need 1½ inches, and I don't think I have enough of what's going on here and here, and it's too pale on the back, so let's just do some measuring. Okay, so this, the most I can get out of this is here. That might be okay for one of these little strips. Let's see. So that's not quite 1/2 inch, but that would be okay. So that is actually, let's start at the 0 point. That is actually 7/16. So if I can get 7/16, and then 2, 4, 6. It's just a bit tight, and I don't want to go much smaller than 7/16. So this one I am not going to use for that particular idea. Now what about this one? This is 3/8 of an inch all the way around. This could work, and then of course I have paper in here I can use for bigger strips. All right, so this could work for the strips. What else did I want to use up here? This one I don't think I have enough. So our lowest piece is here. So if we do 3/8, 3/8, 3/8, this actually could work as well. So I have these two options as the 3 pieces that are going to cross the other paper that is there. So let's figure this out. Want to make the best use of my paper. So I think I like, okay, I might have to dig into some other papers because I feel this one is okay. This could be used. These two are too pale. So let's put those back. Let's pretend we're not going to use those. This we can use the strip and the orange background. So like I could do my 3 strips, and then maybe this lightest one at the bottom can be the orange background. And I need 2, a dark and a medium that's there. Now what did I have from the last group that was left over? So I do have a nice big strip of that. And I have some blue as well. And are these 2 inches? This one is not, so that's going to be kind of messing up my my measurements. What else do we have here? I'm just digging through my things. The other thing I have is I do have a bit of this paper that has the blue, but I'm not sure I want those two things together. Let's just try some more. Those are all too thin, too thin. Just digging through. So we already have that. Don't want too much of a pattern. That's the thing. These are very patterny. We already have this. That's not going to work. What's on the back of this? This is going to be our strip. Or do I have something here that I could use as a strip? Could I use the red as a strip? Because I do have a fair bit of the red. So what if I had these three as the strips going up? 1, 2, 3. Let's see how we like that. And this I think I'll leave. It's a bit pale. Put that under there. Okay, so if we have a light, a dark, and a medium. So light, dark, and medium. This is what I'm thinking. And then this will be the flags that will go through, because I have lots of flag material. So we'll have the 3. There we go. And those will be the flags. So I think this is going to work. So now let's trim. Oh, but I have to have enough for both sides. Well, I know I have extra of this, so I'm not worried about that. A whole page of that, a whole page of this, but this is where we run into trouble. So let's see if I have enough. So if I'm going to have, and I do have some cardstock that I've got piled up here as well. If I'm going to have these, I need, what did I say? They were 1/2 inch, so I need 1, 2, 3 inches in total. And I think I'm actually going to be okay. Oh yeah, I got way more than I need, so I will be fine. But you do got to check that stuff. And do I have enough of this? Oh, I have a whole sheet of that, so I'm good with that. All right. So first, let's cut our first little pieces. Let me just put this up here. So we are going to cut these into 1/2 inch strips. We're going to start with the longest one first. This is 10.5 inches, and that is 10.5 inches, and this is 12 inches. So underneath, I may have to do some splicing, but let's see how far we get. I'm going to take the big trimmer, and I've already said that these little guys are going to be 1/2 inch by 11. So first, let's cut our 1/2 inches, and I might use my other trimmer because I find it difficult to use that cutter. So we're going to use this one because I can see a 1/2 inch much easier. All right, so this is a 1/2 inch all the way down. So I need to put pressure down to make sure that I don't go offline and the paper doesn't shift. So there's a 1/2 inch. Ooh, you know what? I might tape this just because I'm feeling a little bit like it's going to shift. And there we have 3 1/2 inches. And they need to be cut down to, I said, 1/2 inch by 11. Should have maybe done that first. Oh well. I'll have some interesting things to put into my scraps, 1-inch pieces. I'm gonna cut them all at the same time. And these little guys, oh, look at, they're fun. I'll use those for something else. Okay, so this is good for the first side. While I'm cutting, I might as well do the second side. Now, this is how I try to fix things that are awkward. We are, in our plan, going to have like a 1/2 inch out the side on these, well, that looks more like 1 inch out the side. So I need to have 3 inches so that it hides underneath the photograph if I'm going to put 2 pieces together, which is what I plan to do. And these are just slightly off. So we want to make sure that I line them up nicely. Get myself a little piece of paper. And now, or tape rather. And now I am going to cut this. I'm going to cut this, I want to say 3 inches in, and then to 11 inches. So we're going to cut this 3 inches in. There we go. That piece goes into my stash for other things. And then I'm going to cut this to 11 inches, and that should give me a good amount so that when my strip can be hidden underneath the photograph. So let's just make sure we have this all lined up. There we go, and then I have a nice piece I can use for another part of the project. And now I am going to do my 1/2 inch pieces. And I think I'm going to pin this down again, just to make sure I have it lined up well. And I'm measuring it all on this side because I know that I'm off on that side, just FYI. It takes a little bit when you're trying to MacGyver. Sometimes you need to just be patient because sometimes it does shift a little. There's a 1/2 inch, and this one is just going to be slightly skinnier. And it's not quite a 1/2 inch, which is unfortunate, but I'm not going to get too stressed over it. And there's our MacGyvered piece. Oh, that has a bit of a bow in the middle of it. That's interesting. So we are going to have to take it a little slower, just using my bits of tape here to keep it down. There we go. I think we got it. Yes. And a little trim with a pair of scissors won't be a bad thing either. Just got a little notch here. So right here, there's a thing that comes out. So I'm just going to grab my little tiny scissors and flatten that back. So there is my 3 pieces MacGyvered together. Okay, so we have our 6 strips that we need for our double page layout. And I don't need this anymore, so I'll put that in scraps. And now we're going to cut this one down. So we need 1 strip that is, so in order to make this so that if I want to use this paper for a strip going in this direction, I'm going to have to cut my strip in that direction. Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm still going to have a problem if I want to go that way too. Oh well. So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm going to cut it in this direction because it's more likely I'll use it as a border. And I'm going to make this paper number 5. And we figured out those are 2 inches by 10 inches. So first we'll do the 2 inches, because that will give us And do I care what direction it goes in? Yes, I do. So this has a bit of a direction, this way or this way. This way, I don't know. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Doesn't matter. So I'll do 2 inches on this. There we go. And that paper, I need 2 of those because I'm doing 2 layouts. 2 inches, and then I'm doing by 11 inches because that's what my map's by 10 inches. Oh, I should have cut that differently. Oh well. I have 2-inch squares now. I can put that in my little square containers. And these are my 10-inch wide strips, which give me an inch on either side. Perfect. Okay, so we're using the blue side for this. So there's those 2. And then this one is going to be this piece, which is also 2 by 10, and I need 2. So first I'm going to cut the 4 inches. Again, what do I do? What do I do? I'm going to cut the 4 inches this way. So that now, when I know these are going to be strips horizontally, it makes sense. Put that to the side, and now I'm going to cut the 10 inches because I want that as a piece I can use at a later time. There we go. And now I'm going to cut the 2 inches. So now I have my 2 pieces in this color. So I have got my backgrounds. I have got my ridge around the backgrounds. I have my dark, my light. I have my 3 strips. Okay, now we need my medium one. All right. Now I can get the medium one out of this. How wide is that? But I don't have enough for 2 inches. So, or 4 inches. So I'm going to take 2 inches. Put that with the pile to use again. And then cut this to 10 inches. So there's 1 strip, and now out of this one I will take a 2nd strip, and these are horizontal, so I'll cut horizontally, and I am cutting for 2 inches. And this one is here. So now I have this one, this guy. So now we're just going to mats. We need to do some mats. I am going to use a plain color for mats. What color am I going to use for mats? Let me get this off here yet. I'm not ready to make that decision. Let's think about this. So if I'm going to put one page sort of together. Here's our page. Now I need to make mats. It looks like they are differing colors as well. So let's see. I have some plain cardstock here. Let's see if I want to use the plain cardstock. So we have this orange, which looks more red than orange. And then we have this orange, which is a lighter orange. And then we have our blue, which doesn't look like it goes. So are we going to do darker orange or lighter orange? I think I'm going to go neutral. I am going to go neutral. Let's see what else I have here. I could go neutral. Ooh, that really blasts it down, doesn't it? Okay, so it's not going to be that one. I've got a couple other options here. Everything's everywhere. Go blue. That's very blah. I could go this gray color. That's not good either. All right, so here we go. So back to that orangey color, which had some punch. So imagine a photo on there. Let me grab just any old photo on there, like that. Then there is a darker blue hue. So imagine a photo on there like that. And then there's a natural hue. So imagine a photo like that. That I don't like. Okay, perfect. One gone. Now it's whether this one or the other one works. So let's kind of get it down to where we think it might be. I think I'm going with the darker blue. The darker blue. Perfect. Okay, so what's happening here is this color is going to be made into mattes. So this is the left side of the page, and on the left side of the page I have these photos, and so I need to make a 6 1/4 inch. So let's get some of these cut up. I'm going to use this cutter because it's just easier. So we want 6 1/4. So 6 1/4 is what I want. There we go. Perfect. So I want 6 1/4. Oh, I should probably do it thinner. So that's 4 1/4 I want. Really? Okay, so 4 1/4. There we are. That's our 4 1/4. Let's go down that way. And then we do our 6 1/4 on this. 6 1/4. There we go. So there's our first photo. So our 4x6 will be mounted centered on that. And then the other two photos I have are 4x3s. Now can I squeeze that out of there? I cannot. I can do one 4x3 because the other one will be too narrow. So this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 is what I need. There we go. This is extra. So there's 3 1/4. I'll likely need a 3 1/4. So let's measure that off there. And by 4 1/4. All right. There we go. Awesome. Those I'll use later in the next page. So I'm just going to do the base pages first, and then we're going to move to the details. All right. So grab all this stuff. That goes there. This goes there. I actually think I can use that on that one. Right. So now we are going to, first of all, let's tape these guys down. And if I'm looking at my photos, these guys were all horizontal. So I'm just going to take a little bit of tape. This is repositionable tape. Stick it under here. I don't like the textured side, so I'm going to flip it. All right, so now we have our blue edging. We need to get these guys 1 1/4 inch. So I've said that the space is 1.5 inches in between each. So let's use our grid. And I'm using this line, like I had to shift because I have no line here. They're going to join together in that spot. There we go. How does that look? 1.5 inches from the bottom, 1.5 inches from the top. It's all laid down properly. Okay, so now we have our little strips, and our little strips have flag ends. So we're going to put them all together, line them all up, make sure that they're all exactly. And I am going to take my little scissors and I'm going to snip up the middle. These are not the sharpest tips. So I get my snippy scissors, which go right to the end, right to the end, right to the end. There we go. So we got those snipped. And now I'm going to loop them over, do the same cut on this end. That's how I get them to look fairly uniform, rather than doing them all at once, which takes forever. And we all know that's not what we want to spend our time on. Okay, so I do have two that are folded, so they need to be where there's going to be pictures covering them. And then there's this one that doesn't need to be covered. So we're going to stick those down. I'm going to put one right over top of where that joins. And maybe a little piece there. This is, for all intents and purposes, this one is centered. I'm just going to eyeball it. Get it a little bit over on both sides. Kind of eyeball it. And there we go. That's the extent of what I'm doing for that one. This one is slightly up towards the top. So again, make sure you don't show any adhesive. And this one is going to go, I want to say maybe 1/4 inch from the top. So again, I'm just going to eyeball it, giving it what I think is 1/4 inch, and balancing the flag on either side. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then the bottom one, again, is like 1/4 inch from the bottom. I don't think it really matters if it's exact. Whoops. Sticking to me. There we go. And this one's about 1/4 inch from the bottom. Sure, that looks great. All right, there we go. Okay. And then these guys, we can figure this out. So I have a cake picture, which I want to go up here. And then I have a picture before the candles are blown out, which I also want to go up there. And then I have a picture with the candles blown out. So now, this is the tricky part. The biggest one I'm going to put at the bottom here, and I'm going to leave like 1/8 inch at the bottom, and then we'll figure out the other guys. And maybe we should go for 1/2 inch in from the edge of that, I would say. I'm looking at this and it's about 1/2 inch there. So let's try that. And because these are going into pages, I'm not worried about putting super duper amounts of tape on them because they will be held in place. Now, that looks pretty even. A little off maybe. Just shift a tiny bit more. There we go. Okay, and I like that line up. So let's do that. Now, These guys I got to figure out. So I want this one to be lined up with that one, but leave some space in between the two, and then I want this one to be lined up with that one. All right, so here's where we run into trouble. I think with all three, with the top and bottom, we have to line up with the edge. I can't leave this little bit, so we're going to have to shift this and touch the bottom rail. There we go. And then let's get some adhesive on this one. We're just going to put our ruler here to give us a guideline. Whoop. And we're going to have that one, once we get it in place, touch the rail up there. Okay, there we go. And now this one, hopefully, yes, perfect. So this one goes between the two and gives us the space in between. So that worked out quite nicely. The other side is going to be completely different because there's more photos, which is fine. So let's line up from the edge here, trying to get a similar width. There we go. And that looks pretty good to me. And this is looking good as well. All right, so far so good. That's our first page. Now we're going to flip over and do something completely different on the other page. We'll come back to this obviously to do some decorating. Let's get all of our pieces here. We want to line up the basic structure. So let's get this back. All right. So I literally am just going to glue these two pieces together onto my mat at top and bottom so that I can make sure that I'm lining things up properly. Not glue, but tape. So let's make sure they're lined up properly. So now I need to know that my paper is going to be 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to actually physically use this paper to line me up with what's going on over here. So I am going to pin this down as much as I need, and then the rest I'll do after the fact. This is a kind of cheating way to do it, but hopefully it's going to work out, so it will be good in the end. And then right at the edge, there we go. Beautiful. And now I can even do these, but first, let's just do a quick snip. And we'll just, this end has to go to the far side, so that means we are going to tape, I'm going to do half of it. And this is going to line up with that and come out to 1/2 inch. There we go. And there we go. Don't know if this is a shortcut. It feels like it is. And this is going to come out. There we go. All right. So now we can untape it gently. And we're good to finish off. So now we just basically do one of these. There we go. And there's our page. And hopefully when we put them the two side by side, yeah, they look pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to do the photos for this side. I have a number of photos for this side. I have 5 photos, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And this is horizontal. There's 3 horizontal and 2 vertical. All right, now let me just look at my photos to make sure. So I want this one to be up at the top, and it will probably be in this direction. I just realized my tape is exposed here. Go. And so this is going to go over here about a ½ an inch from the edge. And then these 4 are going to be sort of coming together to fill in this space here, like so. So it's not exactly identical, but it should be okay. Now this one, awesome, that fits there. So I need a 4 1/4 cut on this. This was a horizontal. Then, well, let's dry fit everything first. I've got this going in a ½ an inch. Doesn't look too bad. Okay, so that's there, that's there. This will have to be adjusted, which is all good because I'm a bit off. You see how I'm playing that up? All right, now I need to do 2 1/4 inch wide and 3 1/4 inch long, and I need 3 of them. So I think I should be okay to get the remainder. Do I need 3 or maybe only 2? No, I only need 2, so this is a piece I can use for a larger project. And there we go, something like that. I feel like I need to have it so that it at least covers. So this has to go in a bit, ½ inch. Hold on a second. This has to move a ½ inch in. And then this needs to move a ½ inch in. And I need it to show beyond this 2 inch mat. Line that up so you can see some of the color coming through. This also I want to have show beyond the mat for the same amount. That's not good. The seam is right in the middle of the opening. So to make this work, I'm just going to lay this down. I'm going to put the seam right at the edge, and this is going to be 1/8 of an inch down, eyeballing of course, so we have some space above and below. This one is going to go about, let's see, about there. I think I can handle that. And then this one is going to go, this is a bit crooked. It's okay, once I get the picture on there, it'll be straight. Just making sure it's that 1/8 of an inch above and below. And this one, I want to do the same. So it lines up on this edge, 1/8 of an inch. There. Okay. And then this one, we're going to balance it ½ and ½ There we go. Okay, I think I am happy with that. Something going on there. Let me hold it up so I can see it directly. Oh, you know what it is? It's the diagonal is making me think that the measurement is off. So let's do a quick test. I'm almost exact on that side. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so there we go. Now let's look at the two together and see if they look cohesive. It's a little late now, but so those are where our pictures are going to be. And now we're going to do the decorating. Let's do that while it's spread out. Get a few things out of the way. We have some words we can use. We have a whole bunch of things that I didn't have the last time we were doing this together. And those are all my pictures. So I'm looking at my picture and I'll worry about what these things are going to be and that thing is going to be. I'm just going to get little clusters of 3 that are going to work with everything. So words are secondary. First is clusters. So I have a bunch of things that I've been hanging on to. Here's a whole whack of things. And this, borders. So I have these borders that have already been cut up. I have these borders that can be cut up. These I think might be just a little big. There's some more words. Let's throw those up there. You could have some flowers. You could have some smaller candles. I'm not sure that this is going to work for anything. No, it will cut into the actual pictures. We have some tags. We have some birthday things. Oh, we used those on the other side, which was awesome. Some more words. These. Oh, that's quite large. Yeah, you never know. It's words, right? I better keep that out just in case, because some of these are quite large. We have little balloons. We have cake. We have hanging things. We have happy birthday. I cannot remember what I had on the other one. Did I have happy birthday? I think I'll skip that. Calendar, confetti, cake, presents, and things. That's a bit big, but that could go behind something. All right, so let's look at the first page. I've got that upside down. That's the second page. There we go. This is the first page. All right, so we're coming up with little groupings of 3. And there was something I saw in here that I really thought was kind of cool that we could use. Or maybe I didn't see it. So we have this gift bag. And if we look at this, we have this little piece here, and I'm thinking that could actually be maybe some of this, because we've already cut this. We can have this, or we could have some of this across there to represent this little piece. Actually, let's just do that. So I'm going to trim this out. Is that all I want on there? Maybe I only want 3 pieces, so I'm going to go in and trim between them. There we go, because I can still use that on another page. And I don't like these. They are very heavy white outer lines, so I am just going to fussy cut around. There we go. Much less happening with that. Let's get rid of those bitty bits, and now this looks better to me. So we can put that down at the bottom to represent that little piece there. And I know this isn't going to work as well, so I just want to maybe tuck a few things behind there. So let's see what we have. And these tags are just a little big. I'm going to not use these because I used them on the last one. This is a bit larger scale than I want to get into. And this is more words. These are larger words. I could put this cheers to another year here. That is actually nicely framed. I'm going to keep that out. Presents we've done. I could tuck that behind there. Or maybe I'll do this little guy. We have cake. Blue cake wouldn't work too well. Strawberry cake is kind of large. We could do a couple of candles. That's too big as well. Or we could just do one candle. One candle and the heart. That makes me happy. And up here, we now need to pull in a little bit of decor. Don't know that I like that. Maybe this one will be better. You can put some flowers perhaps behind here a little bit. No, I'm not loving the flowers. They're a little bit too much. Like those. Those might come in handy. Do I do this behind there? All right. What else can I do? I've got this little bit. I could actually run some of this below there, like that. I'm going to take this off. I need to thin this down. I cannot, it's just way too much white. Rounding it just a little bit nicer, finessing. And this needs to also be trimmed down. But you know what, this is going to be difficult. So I think we'll just kind of have this going here, that going behind, trim this down. Okay, so I did some fussy cutting just to clean these up a little bit, and I'm going to pop dot this because I want that raised up. I'm going to do it with regular pop dots. That's going to sit there. This is going to tuck underneath. This is just going to tuck underneath a little bit too, and this I'm going to pop dot, and that's going to sit on top of that. So that I like. And then down here I'm going to pop dot these just a little more. It has a pop dotted present there, but I'm going to double pop dot it because I want it to stand out a little bit more. And then this guy is just going to tuck behind there, and then it just tucks behind there like that. I think I like it. So let's go with that. We'll figure out the other page after. Let's get this guy done first. There we go. Like it. Okay, now let's put this guy on where we want him. There we go. This is not sticking, so let me just put a dab of glue there. And then this guy is going to come just out of there. And I can't figure out if I want him to go this way. There, these guys are in the way. Let's get these guys out of the way first. Oh, lots of crummy bits. Crummy bits. I think I do like him better that way. So we're going to just stick him down with some glue. And now this one, we're just going to tuck under here, like so. I'm going to glue that one down. And this little guy's pop dotted. And he's going to sit there. And there you have it. I haven't put any words on it, but that's the next step. So there's the decor part and the title. Let me see. I just need this over to the side so I can see if I'm getting a balanced perspective. So let's grab these guys. All right. So there's our 2 pages, more or less. There we go. Now on this side, we need to be able to kind of match the intensity of his on the other side. We totally could put a cake, because this is cake and that's just balancing off the cake, or we could put a smaller cake. Let's try the smaller cake. This is feeling kind of big. We could put a cake, maybe some balloons coming out of the cake. That would be fun. We have more of this. We're going to hang on to that for later. All right. So we could put a little of these. What if we move that up some and then put these at about the same location as on the other side? Or is that too matchy-matchy? That's too matchy-matchy. Okay, so let's go back to having this down here, this here. Could we do something like that? Oh, you need to see the ribbons. And this maybe can go like this. We have an open parcel. That's just a little too big. It's not doing it for me. Okay, we're going to stick with maybe this. And that kind of takes up that area. So now let's look at some words. So I have a woohoo. I have age to perfection. Birthday bash. So we do have best party ever and some other things we can add in. And then use the smaller things. I need oranges and reds. So I have best party ever. That would work. I could add that in sort of randomly. Something like that. Yeah, I think I like what's going on here. Now, is that too much? Too open across the bottom? No, not really. I could move this down to the edge of there. So it brings this a little bit down. Just struggling with this little thing here. I do maybe want some blue to show. I do maybe want this to be more like that. And then birthday bash can go on here, and then such fun can go there. I like it. I think I like it. So we're just going to put that there. Do I need something here? Well, we can do best party ever, so it crosses in between the two. We can do age to perfection, so it crosses between the two. This doesn't work as well, so we could put something like this between the two. No, don't like that. What else do we have here? We have presents, we have cake, we have candles. We have 2 candles, one on either side. I need something across the bottom. Age to perfection. No, don't like the weight on there. Lots of things. Could cut that in half. I think we're going to go with these two pieces just, and this is kind of random though. What can I put there? What if I had something like that? Slice down the middle with Age to Perfection. So far I like this. I just need, maybe I do that. Oh yeah, that pulls it together a little bit more. Okay. All right, I see what I'm doing now. Okay, let's stick some of this down. I'm gonna pop dot this, but I have to get the yellow off of there, so let's trim that down. Okay, fussy cutting is done. Oh, I'm loving it. This guy needs to be pop dotted, I think. There we go. Now you can see him. Now this we're going to snip in half. I should probably do that with the cutter. These things all need to be snipped in half. And then we'll put it on here. Best party ever. Look at that. Fits perfectly. Best party ever. Nice. Okay, now we are going to trim between the best. Well, kind of have to look at halfway. Ooh, I had to breathe. Best party ever. That's not bad, not bad. And I think I need to do that also with this guy here. Oh, pretty close, pretty close. Good enough, good enough, good enough. Now these guys I am not pop dotting because they're right where the seam is. There we go. Those guys are there. And then this guy. Oh, should have had them poking from behind the heart. Should be thinking more about what's coming next. Okay, these again are very tricky. There, that looks fun. There we go. Beautiful. Now this one, there we go. Okay, now we just need sparkles. Sparkly things. And the finished layout you'll see in the beginning of the video with the photos in it, with the faces, of course, masked. All right, so let's get some glossy accents. Well, this is actually a touch of gloss and some sparkle. Alrighty, cherries need to sparkle. So we're just going to fill that up with nice glittery sparkle. Confetti should also sparkle. So I just simply trace over the image and the heart and the candle should sparkle. And let's let this bow sparkle. Do I want the cheers to sparkle? I'm not sure yet. Now, we have these two pieces together. I could have done it separately, but I want it to be the same density. So I'm just going to put this up there for a moment. Let's do such fun and fun. Now, sometimes stickers don't accept the sparkle as well, which seems to be happening here, but I'm good with that. If it doesn't, if it's kind of like modeled, that's okay too. It's kind of technique technique-y. Let's have the strawberry sparkle. I want the balloons to sparkle too. And again, stickers sometimes don't take to the sparkle so well, but this one seems to be doing okay. That one not so much, but it's a different brand. There we go. And I think that's it for sparkle. Let's just try adding a little more now. All right. Now, I'm going to go back in with, I really feel like I want to make Cheers to Another Year sparkle. So, okay. And you know what? Because we can, let's just sparkle these guys up. So now we're doing some 3D-ness. I'm going to seal this because I know that that stuff is not going to stay on there. So I'm just putting a three-dimensional coating of clear on top. I'm not going to worry about the balloons. I'm going to three-dimensional coating the strawberry, just gives it some more dimension, which is a little fun. This needs to be coated so that that sparkle sticks. And when you put it on, don't touch the surface, just lay it on with your, holding it a little bit above the surface. And we're going to do some 3D. I'm not going to do any 3D on that. We'll come over here and we'll do the 3D on the flame here. And finish the heart. Strawberry. These guys need to have some dimension. They're very flat. So let's give them some glossy. Candle, heart, bow. I think that's it. Okay, so let's look at what we have. We have a 2-page part 2 layout. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. Loving it. I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it for tonight. If you did enjoy it, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to share video number 1. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel at the end of the video, underneath the video in YouTube. And we'll see you later. Bye now.